Savele nei fiafi matanga o fie o kilani le ma nei mai lava le tau ia malo fo ile soifua manuia I laua fionga malo fo ile tau tua ile malu le tunu ile Radio Samoa. So it's a pleasure being on here tonight. Patalo fats fo ile malu le tunu o faafonga mai ia malo le soifua manuia.
Ia, malo, whaftai fo I wa fio mai wai, e toa le le tai le whafonga le tunu a wa, o oe o le expert I mea umanei o whatalandoanga o le whelo inga fo I ma whale tupe and other banking institutions, financial, mea umalna e ta ua tele. Ia, nā mailo waso ma le whai unga o le nāba yaso mo tuna iatu pena, maua fo I se feedback le lei, I le tali mai o tangata, manisi fo I sa wala au watu mo se fautuanga e tusa I ma ni fuafuanga aluan ma mao le whatawino se whale.
Ia whaftaisa vea mo le sili ia o lea lava e tele lava le malu le tunu ule e vilivili mai pe I meli mai ona e lava nai fasili especially lava le tūlanga lea o le fia mana na o I whaatau se whale. Ai le lope whafbea ona amata. O le a fo I le tūlanga e tatau ona whaatino mua. So e mānai lava le tapo kalame sa vea I lau fionga o lea lava iai lava le mamalu le tunu o lea lava e tele lava le au whalongolongo mafsisili, which is what we want. Ia whapea ona fsosani le malu le tunu e whaamalama. O le ale tūlanga e tasau ona whai, e pe whapea whea poi ona achieve le tūlanga o le whaatau o se whale mua.
Maria lava, tā ua tele ia lo lātou sila fia le tunu, ia ma tāpata pātu, ia ma e whaamanino ma whaamalama atoa iai. Ia wheuta nga inga e mua whai ile me ta o le sa ili o oe le whale tupe, po sisi foi whale tupe, ma whai ile me ta o le pre-approval ina ia manino malamba ile tunu o toi wha manino le upu lea o le pre-approval.
Ia mana ia tele le fasiri sa vea pre-approval o lona winga o lea wa uma na ave ia tātou documents o tātou basilipi, o le tātou deposit pe fia lea whaile iai, wa umona present uma ia tātou documents po pipa ia. Ia ona submit lole I le bank pe, tasi le bank pe lua bank, so o discussions uma lava lea o te whaia male ainga po Fale me mana na oai, pe mana na o lava lato o tasi le bank pe mana na oai Avenue Bank se lua, so that we've got some options to work with. Yeah, abelo la le tato application to so lele I maua so Fale. You haven't probably not seen a property at Manawai. Paule mele fia mana o mia pe fia se amount e comfortable le bank e au mai mo tato e whaatinoi lea vaenga. So le pre-approval la o lewa okay mai le bank papea ia okay based on the information at tato le an abatu. They are happy to consider up to a certain amount so na whaateta inga pe ono se la wafe. Ia o lona winga o le ono se la wafe lewa pre-approve mai. Wha popo iai ma le tātou deposit lewa maua. A whapea lua se la wafe le tātou deposit. Ia o lona winga o le tau o le whale le tau ona titilo iei tātou e valu se la wafe lona whaatapula ale. So o le pre-approval is basically o se amount o lewa okay mai le bank based on our current financial position. So we tāua tele lale malamalama I le tūlanga lea. E base le tātou financial position e te wa mai le pre-approval ai toi o tātou te whaise si ai tā lafu I tu atu. Pe iei nisi o na ngai o inga ai le I whaatau le whale. Because the bank has the right to decline le tātou pre-approval lea. Pe a whapea e le o whaia tātou ia puipuinga lai. Because it's based on the financial position lenga submit to the bank. Na au mai e le amount le whapea o le a. They're comfortable. We can service, we can manage le amount le, whapopo le e me le tātou deposit, o le tau le o le whale e ngata I le tātou, wawa ai o se whale I le tūlanga.
A whapea lau le ua murmuritai ia le ainga I lau whautuanga ma ua au mai foi ma whaamatu me le whale tupe se vaenga e tilo iai le ua whaatau le whale. A o se whale lo na lua la lea o le a tātou se elo iai o se investment property o le a lau whautuanga e whaile i le ainga lea pe a whau. Ona lei atoa mai lava le tongina o le mokesi ma le interest rates, o lea ua iai le equity, a o lea la o lea silisila le whaatauina o seisi fale fo lea as an investment property.
Ana ia tele le fsile sabea ona wa iai fo ile mamalu le tunu o lewa a matana tilo le tulang o le whaonga le equity le tonu o le mauta mua le iai. E whaatawai se si fale o le tulanga mua lava, we can do a pre-approval pe lava o le tulanga lava le pre-approval le au mai o le mau mai lola le tato pre-approval. What I usually would suggest ti ainga ia awana i tu whaatasia le tato mo kesi o le fale o le ainga, your family home, ma le investment property home mortgage. O lona winga e tastawana ese le bank e iai lo mo kesi o le fale o le ainga, your family home, ese fo le bank e iai le tato mo kesi le la au mai mo le whaatau o le investment property. O le mafu anga e leona mato fautuaina le vaenga. Ia minimize le tato risk o sona whaataita inga. Ia inai a inga o mato ngā lulu e le teminei, not necessarily our community, but some families. O le tūlanga le na ia ina whaatau le lato whale mua, whaatau le lato investment property is all with one bank. So in a bit of a financial difficulty.
Yeah.
So o le tūlanga la iai, the bank can force sale ia lo whale uma ia lua. Ona lea, the bank has got the security over both homes. Le mana ia la le separate is, o le sivaenga le mana ia le separate, e minimize lo risk. Fa pe ia se tūlanga tupu le investment property. You can sell the investment property. A la lava na focus leo tātou wanga ile peinga, make sure the family home is secure. O le tūlanga na e tau lava na e tāua tele le malamalama, wai po le afo ile mafuanga e leo na separate. It's a bit of work, it takes a lot of back and forth, but o le long-term benefit le na, ia minimize tātou risk pe a iaisa na worst case scenario, se tūlanga wha pē tupu mai. O lesi foi tūlanga, we have a look at all the expenses for your rental. Tūlanga whapea o le mokesi, o rates, your insurances, your maintenance for your rental property, your property manager fee, e te tula iai o le income le la asau, te tonu po o le tato rental income le la asau. E ngā whatia o na kawa uma tato expenses here. No. And afa pelenga fatia. Do you have the cash for a substitute le senga le lua? So it's important telelona malamalama all expenses of your rental versus the income le lasau. Afa pe a manageable level of difference. You might need to put in $100 or whatever. No. You are still comfortable doing that. Then that's good. Ao lesi foi tūlanga mātou te whautuaina matirtilo iai. O le ale, what happens pe awha pēnei, te ua le pei le rental ale tenant, If you have a non-occupancy period o le aise income mai le rental for say 8 weeks, which e tupu, o tupu foi, O le ale tato, what's our plan? Do we have sufficient cash surplus le to tonu o le tato process lea te kawaile le tūlanga whapea. So it's as important i tato malamalama o malava. In the worst case scenario, ai le se nina ia ne pepa o lesi tūlanga, we highly recommend. Ai le finalizinga le whaatinoina o low investment property is to have an accountant advice. O le tūlanga le accountant, ona iei ona, there could be tax benefits for you. Ia o le tūlanga lana e te tau lava na whaatala noa se accountant after you got your pre-approval. E ana o le whautuaina e te alu mua tala no le accountant, because you'll get a fee. A le tele ino pe approve mai lo mo kesi. So always go for a pre-approval, then it doesn't cost you anything. Then at least you know polalo what options you have. Ia engage the accountant e le finalisina me umalav. So you know po le ale pengi fiki mo oe from a tax perspective, and what happens pe afa pengi ke wa kang ko sell le investment property le, what's the clawback o tulanga uma fa pe te sauna ona mala mai, and how do you structure your low investment property? Pe tu itu don't was a company, are you putting it into a loss attributing company, illicit trading company, or advice accountant? Is it beneficial more? Be to just in your personal name, to langa yeta while engage or the accountant as well as your solicitor. To langa umayen. I finalizing us, it's a decision. Or let's to langa, are you going to manage the property yourself? Or leite to le faungase property manager through a real estate agent? So tulanga uma lava fa beta ua telele malamalama mai lopo le afo le costo nei tulanga uma ai le finalizing a decision to buy an investment property.
Malu va te tau telele da wai manindo fo ile tulu wa tu fa tasi ya mo kesi le fale tupe tasi ya yese be tu lai mai pe fa ta watu le investment property a priority lava ia me mana o ile fale tupe le ngo ila to ia o lo uina mo kesi lua ia le taimi tasi o le sa o le nau.
Ia sa o le lei lava lau saunoanga na se whaatata inga me pe wha pula lei titi ai a wha pia o le tu whaatasi le bank tasi awa mana na ola o lua sell off le investment property. So in your mind, and maybe in your, well, if I been in your mind o lena whaatau mai o lua le investment property le ono se la wafi. So in your mind, e te tau lama nawe e se le bank just that amount. Ai awha apene te ua te tilo atu le bank e a mai low proceeds po le tupele na maua mai wala I titi mai ono le walu I lalo le value low family home. E mawhai le bank ona o le wha apea o ia mai la le tupelea e te tau lama na ile se la wafe le la tutoi mai wale wha akau le fiku se la wafe mai la se la wafe le wha ngai ma ua e whai ile si tūlanga lea. Yeah, olona winga there's a high chance le amaya umale le surplus le bank wa ati tilo to le bank ko reevaluate le lato security la to le taimine ia male tato income le la sa tonu they will highly likely to umala to le surplus le na mawa mai be au mai fo isina vaenga depending on your overall situation le wa ye le taimile tasi.
Ma lo fa ta sel ta ua tele mai o la fautuanga ta ua lea o au mai pe tu salava au nei tu ua o mia ia le fa fita u li fo le tu la mai ai a fa longo tu le a inga ua fa le tonu ma ua faisi fa fainga ta te isi o le tongina and keeping up with paying the mortgage let you know ina ia vave longo atu oe ma mfai ona fai sau tau whaamtalanga a o lei ma mau se teimi o tu tiu tala loa whapena ona te le ia leo le whawhitauri.
Yes, leila mamana ia te lele sili ona we've just got a report from Centrix sen umamana lava ia mātou mortgage brokers le overall view la vanga le sia ke ia tātou credit rating. They also do the data more meo inquiries or loan arrears or mortgage arrears, personal loan arrears. O le data la lenga sau has gone up a little bit overall. E New Zealand le ia mo kesi o faisino na pa le tonu le tsongina. So le mela le pe o lau sau noanga e fautuaina le mamalu le tunu. Awana itu uina se iyo o le arrears lo tulanga. It's always best e longo mai masau tātou tala noa. Ai le ia o ilea tūlanga. If you think ke ia ua whaisinga whale kongo, what are some options e tilo iai? So wai olona arrears, not only it affects ilo credit history, because now it will impact your credit history. O le si tūlanga la whaingta fo ile bank ona allow me as a mortgage broker to do anything until le up to date lo mo kesi. So le tūlanga le fautuaina lava le mamalu le tunu, because there are options. We can have a look at probably a temporary interest only. E avele tātou talasanga le bank, ia tau is mai le titi le tātou cash flow. o le situlanga fai fo ina tili iai pe extend like tili term o le tatou mo kesi. Again, ina ia tau ease mai le pressure le tatou cash flow. Ia na mawhaile na tau review, maybe it's only for 6 months. A o lae le manai o le wawelongo mai e whaatala noa. Ai le i o le tūlanga e whaawhainga tai ma impact ai lo credit history ia o le soani atu le.
Wa iaini a inga whapea ua mwhai ona sefe mai ala to mo kesi ina ua vave ona longo atu oe na ua mana baba ia tule a inga, it's a bad situation that they're in, but they needed help quickly.
Mana i tele sili ia e sa o leila wala sa unoanga, wa iai a inga ua mawhai ona sefe mai, so ua mawhai ona avele application na iai le na o le malu le tatu atunu, iai fo isi tangata anu o iai le tūlanga. So yes, ia na ia inga o titulatu wa tau they forecast be la faisina wa paulalo over kaimi excuse me, but was lalo over kaimi and their hours may be reduced. Ia na tilule le semile we submit an application interest only for a short period of time so go pick up le kako cash flow. So yes, ia inga wa ia le tulanga wa faiona ona yesif so swani ai le yo ile tulanga.
Alo whaptai i le whawhonga mai le tunu, ia olo o matala noa ma le whaletua ia Emele Palamo, ia ia sosoni atu fo i le tūlanga o iai ia le pangatia. O le mana onga e whaatau le Fale, o le ale amatanga o le whiutanga inga. A o le numera lea, o le olua fitu, valu tolu fitu, valu wha, valu o lo iai lunga le tātou screen, le mwhai umatu le whaatala noanga le nei, ia aia ngai o tau. E wala aulu whaletua ia Emele. Ia matala noa ia o tau whawita auli. Ia po se ainga fo e o loo nau. Ina ia whaia se whai unga mua o le lua whenua sifuma lima i se Fale mo le ainga. Ia o nai fesili na o lena na tātala noa i ai. A pe a iei si vaenga e pa u ia te au. Ia, a lafo atu i lo i tū vai. Sa noa ma wha manino ma wha lau tele nisi o mataupu ai tā tele i tau mawai le so.
Ia whaptai tele sa vea mo le nei fo ia mangoa matango o fia le ne fiafi. Ia o le sipo tuanga i le lei lava lo sa ili ili pe you want to go directly to the bank. Pe te whaonga ina se mortgage broker o le sipo i a whaonga se mortgage broker, it gives you a lot more options. Ai po wai foi le mortgage broker te fia whaonga ina, ona e tāua tele le tūlanga lea is somebody you can trust. E ma whai ona wha amala malama le lei oi tūlanga ese se whatata inga nei a inga na they use either directly to the bank or another mortgage broker. Yeah, wa mai le pre-approval. Ia nga pawale mea, ia olo so sko Fale. Ia le o malama lava pe o le a ia ingo le nei tūlanga. So e tāua tele le mamalu le tinu o le a whailo filfilinga ia filfili pe I say alu directly to the bank and I found out for a mortgage broker or so I'm always here to help. So swani if I find of fear ye too long as I feel free really my family at for bad while Italy is it time on a kasika ika I tell them malo let's know ya or yai lava some fire to so swani mataliatu but always feel free to call me, leave a message family mole. Pe emaili mai foi pe ale maua mai ia manui e tele malo longo le fiafi. After tele savea.
After ia. O le ua lau sa fo i o whaiva ai whafonga le atunu i au wala e mwhai ona soani e tuai i al whalitua ia Emele ia te oe. Ia pe a whai o iaini whawhita auli o lo whea ngai i le tongina o le mokesi ia whapena fo i male tongina o le tupe tului po le interest rate, ia, wana aulu telefoni, o lua fitu, valu tolu fitu, valu wha, valu o, mo le whaletua ia Emele. Ia, manuia li malolonga le fiafi lau fionga le whaletua Emele, tātou wheloa i le vai aso fau, whasoi ia o mo le teminei.
Whasoi
Ia, le na, tawalunga atuaile talanoanga fo i male, leisi host, ia po leisi po ia tātou malo. A leo wa mafuta mai ia leo so ia Thomas ia o le lipule le na o le company o le Blueprint Builders po le Builders Blueprint o tangata nei lātou te whaitawina a toa lava le whaafanua o le ata o le fale. Ma malama le le ia I mea o mna mia ai ia le toi whaare le ia. Whatalo whatu Thomas Malu level so Happy New Year to you, my brother, and welcome back.
Happy New Year, Severe. Thank you so much again for this opportunity to be on the radio again. And to everyone listening, to Alufa, and I look forward to chatting with you today.
Malu lava, you had a wonderful rest and plus revisiting or reviewing the whole blueprint, Builder's Blueprint work for 2025. How's it started so far?
It's been off to a great start this year. We can see a lot more of an increase in inquiries now into the renovations. A lot more of our people are looking to renovate rather than buying new houses, which is good. So it's definitely off to a very good start for the year.
Ia, o le wawai atu I le tulanga fo ia wai. O ele mai le uma ia ngā ruenga o le whawina o Malta Malawa ia o Fale. No fo tangata. It's an ongoing process and project. Anywhere you go, people will move to places where there are buildings and houses to live in. Lasa tau o e tilo ne iai I le tulanga o le construction cost ma isi me umawhapena tusa mana ngā luenga o lo tōwhaia.
Okay, that's a very good question. Thank you for the question, Severe. So in terms of cost of construction, since 2015, we've seen an increase of about 1.5% since 2015 to about last year. We see an increase. And lately, it's starting to stabilize because of, we had COVID and we had a lot of delays with materials. So there was a lot of backlog in terms of getting materials. So that's why we had the spike in cost for materials. But it's starting to stabilize, which is promising for us here in New Zealand.
Awa pea o lea ua manao wa whaasotai atu se ainga mo se ngā ruenga po le toi whaaleleia. A renovation job within the family home. O lea le me talanoa. How do you determine, what's going to be done and what's going to be said at your first meeting? Tau te whelai o atala e talanoa I aimba whiutanga I ai.
Time of City Surveyor. In the initial meeting, I think like we discussed last year, in that consultation, there's a few key points that we want to cover. The first one is understanding your vision, or what do you want to achieve for your project. Understanding what it is that you're trying to build for your family. So that's number one. Number two is we assess your home, the current state of your property, to help us spot any potential challenges that we might face. For example, like we discussed last year in terms of having the issue with, the mold that was in one of the families that we just finished the renovation. We did all the initial assessments and we couldn't see why there was mold because the roof was fine. We didn't see any egress issues on the outside. But once we removed the jib, then we saw that the building paper was inside. So those are some of the things that we want to assess before we start the build, but we weren't able to, which leads me to my next point, which is understanding those risks that are involved. Because renovation, you can minimize risk, but you can never eliminate the risk completely. There's always some sort of risk involved. So we discuss budget as well. That's one of the things that we discuss. And then we clarify roles in the renovation process, like who's in charge of what you're going to buy as the client. Do you want to go get your own kitchen? Do you want to go get your own shower kits? Do you want to get your own vanities, your own tiles, things like that? So we want to clarify all those things in the initial consultation, which is the free consultation.
Malo. Olono winga la mfaifo te lea la le sao people like mortgage brokers with Emele. Mfaiona to e o le fale tupe mo to e determine I to mfaiona fa ngale renovation?
Yes. Because when you discuss renovating your home, It's also about managing expectation as well. A lot of the time, kikilos renovating or se fale, or you watch like a TV show, you may think that renovating your house is going to cost you this much and you're going to get this much. And I've just finished doing two houses for a TV show, and it's not as accurate as what they show on TV, for what it actually costs, because they sponsorships for TV.
Yeah.
Renovating a house is not cheap, uh, and it's not expensive as well, depending on how you work within your budget. So that's why I mean about determining the budget really early on, so that when we do the design or fali and we talk about all those things, the budget is like one of the most important things, because you have your vision, what you want, and then we circle back to your budget and we say, hey, your vision is this much, but your budget is this much. So we need to bring you back to your budget, or we go back to Emele and go, hey, Emele, is the bank going to lend us some more money in order to achieve the vision that we're going to owe the client?
Yeah, it's all it up because at some point, at some times, people over imagine and then the budget blows.
Yeah, which is one of the challenges that you may face in construction as well, which is managing expectation and budget overruns. It's one of the big ones.
Ola no winga la te lele amano tau te talanoi ma le ainga, and then you will show them how to go about doing this rather than there is an option of fixing this.
Yeah. So when we go through the initial stages, like I mentioned before last year, we have 4 stages to our process. We go through what we call the initial visit, where we discuss all of those initial steps. And then we go over to design stage. So the first stage is like the planning stage, where we discuss everything. And this is like the most important part of the whole build. The renovation part is the easy part. That's the part you see, you enjoy, and you get excited over. But the most important part is in the planning. And that's why whenever I sit down with our people, especially our clients, I always try my best, if I'm makala, especially in matua, like there's a process, and it takes time. Don't rush the process. If you have a building company that comes to you and they rush that process and say, "Oh, we need to get to this," that's a big red flag. You got to be careful, because maybe they're running out of money, maybe they want your money and they want to get something out of you, and then all of a sudden they disappear. So you got to be careful with those things. That's why it's important you go through the planning stages, understanding the roles, the materials you're going to be using, your design, and your budget in the initial stages before you move on to the next stage of the process.
Ia, o leo te wapai atu nei. E tele ngā ruenga o lo pe o le fausia o se pā, o le whai o se fola. Ia whapena fōi ia le pui a mai o le ele fōle le oni solo po le retaining walls. O nisi leo vaenga o lo whatino le tau company le builder's blueprint?
Yep. Yeah, we can build fences, we can build retaining wall. Like I mentioned before, we are a full construction company. We do everything from site establishment all the way through to key and handover, to you. So we build new houses, we renovate, and we also do exterior works as well. And if we can't do some of the work that you may ask us to do, we'll refer you to one of our trusted partners that can help in the process.
La se langona ia te oe na ua mai asa ngā ruenga sa utou ngā rurue o se ainga Samoa, o sila ua mātango fie ma le lei ma saunga le mu ma le tui nātu. Handing over the keys is like a new car. You're selling somebody a car. What do you see in the faces of these people and how they feel?
I think that's such a great question, Sylvia. I think that is the most important part of what we do. Being able to see, our families, our first generation or second generation families that come over from Samoa, and to be able to work, our parents have paved the way for us. So for us to be able to be at a stage where you can build now your home to create a legacy for your children, and then to hand that over to your children, that is the biggest achievement I think any parent can have. And for us to see and be able to deliver that and protect that, which is the number one key, is protecting your investment and your legacy for your family. You know, when you see the look in people's faces, it's the most rewarding part of what we do.
And knowing too that these people are safe in this environment that you yourself built with your hands and your team, and it's going to be there for a very, very long time to last. O le telefoni o le olu o tasi lima lima valu tolu o na wha o le company le nā le sunga a Thomas ma le lātou vaenga o whaingoina o le builder's blueprint. So, in few words, why should you and others and our people trust Builder's Blueprint for the work that they want to do?
Thank you so much for the question, Savia. I can give you the PR version of it, but I'll just say in few words why people should choose us. Is number one is referrals. People refer us. Like I mentioned before, we don't really do any marketing. We just put up our work online, and people refer us to all our clients. That's how we, you know, so we're trusted by our people to refer us to someone else, or to the next person, which is powerful. It's powerful to be referred, and that's why we take it so seriously. When we finish a project, is we ask our clients, hey, how was it working with us? Was it a good experience, or was it a bad experience? What can we improve on? And that's what we value. And number two is my most important value is we embrace our Samoan concept of ainga, or family, and bring that same concept of family into my business. So when we work with you, we don't just treat you like a transactional agreement. I treat you like a part of our extended family. I want to be able to see you after I build your fale down the road in Manukau or Mangere or Otahu, and I can say hello to you on a Sunday, and I don't have anyone say anything bad lang o kako sa travel or news. So it's all about you know, having a good reputation and those values, core fundamental values that we hold in our company.
Yeah, I might now Thomas or the job that you have done, the work that you constructed also adds value to your property when you decide to sell that property in the near future, isn't it?
Yes, that's right. Anything that you do to your property is going to add value if it's done correctly. If it's done incorrectly, it's not going to add any value. You may think it will, but it's not. So that's why doing and following the right steps, it's what I advise all our clients to protect them, is you just got to do the right things and everything will fall into place for your investment.
Rano whafteitiri lava, le numero le nā le sunga i Thomas mo ngā ruenga whaali ai le mauta ma le lawa, o le olu o tasi lima balu, tolu lima wha, tolu ono wha. All right, final words from you, my brother, before we just end our conversation. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Savia. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be on here. It's always great to be able to provide some insight into construction for our people. And if anyone wants to give me a call on 021-558-364, I'm more than happy to answer any questions.
Malu, whafteitele Thomas, we look forward to seeing you again next week. I le tāpuru Kalambe, Malu I Fale, I whaasoifua I mōru te minei.
Tai lava Savia.
Ia whaasoifua I manuia le vaiaso, ia mawhaiva fo I lo whenga iai.